Oh, it's not quite the off-season yet here on Super Motocross Insider. Jason Weigandt and Jason Thomas joining you to run down the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations, which just took place over the weekend in France. And if there's a race internationally, you know our man Jason Thomas is bound to get on a long flight and go. I've always heard that these French races for the nations, be it at Saint Jean d'Angely or here at Ernée, where it just took place, second to none in atmosphere. So first of all, JT, what was it like just absorbing all that?
Yeah, it's everything you would expect. The last time I was there for this particular event was 2015, and I had memories that were going to be hard to meet or exceed. There are just so many people, and there's so much enthusiasm for these Motocross of Nations event, especially in France, who has had such a great run over the last decade or two at this event. So going in, I was like, you have a lot to live up to, but they did everything and more. There were so many people packed in there, and I think they were looking for France to show up and perform. And boy, did they ever.
Yeah, it honestly wasn't even close when you look at the points. France dominated. They even had a 1-2 performance in one of the motos. Romain Febvre, Maxime Renault, and Tom Vial. I want to start actually with Vial. We had a bunch of riders, not just Team USA, but that we're familiar with throughout the Super Motocross World Championship, ride really well. And how about Vial? That was the best we've seen Vial ride, I think, all year long.
Yeah, really impressive from Tom. And I felt like it would be a nice return to form for him. It's a track he's familiar with. He's on home soil. And you look at how the Pro Motocross Championship went for him, and Supercross was a completely different dynamic, but he had to learn so many new tracks in such a short amount of time. So for him to go back to familiar confines on conditions that he's familiar with against riders that he's raced against many, many times, I just felt like it would be a nice refresher for him, and that's exactly what we saw in the results.
Yeah, he was the best MX2 or 250 rider by far. So tip of the visor to Team France for just dominating the event on home soil. I think coming in, the one team on paper that might be able to match up to them was actually Team Australia. Normally, we'd like to think Team USA could be there, but as we know, it was tough to even find 3 racers that were healthy and willing and able to go. Team USA ends up 8th with Christian Craig, Aaron Plessinger, and RJ Hampshire. Australia was good, and they did finish 2nd. At least the weekend ended with a familiar refrain, which is any track, any country, anywhere, any time zone, Jett Lawrence and Ken Roczen are going to battle for wins.
Yeah, and I think it took Jett some time to figure this track out. He didn't look that comfortable. He didn't qualify that well. His free practice times weren't at the top of the board, which we're so used to seeing from Jett. But by the end of the weekend, and when it really counted in that final moto, Jett found his form. And for the rest of Team Australia, I think Hunter came in not at 100%. We saw that huge crash at the Los Angeles Coliseum that kept him out of any chance at the Super Motocross World Championship in the 250 class there. So I wondered about his level of performance. Would he be able to even go, right? There was talk of having a fill-in rider there for him. But I think he just soldiered through and put the best effort he could. I don't think he really practiced at all coming into this event. So considering the conditions and considering what he had to face, I thought he rode really, really well. After all was said and done, I don't think anybody was going to touch Team France, but Australia did a really, really nice job and brought home their best ever result, which is 2nd place.
Yep, and then that final moto battle, France was just doing what they needed to do to manage it, but it was fun to see Roczen and Lawrence battling just like they did the last time we saw them at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And Jett Lawrence wins the final moto and puts Australia up in 2nd. And credit to Team Italy, who finished up in 3rd.
You know what? The Motocross of Nations, one thing, it's hard. It's not easy, and I think our guys gave it. They wanted to come. Not the result we were looking for. Congratulations to France out there for their victory and all the podium contenders, but we fought hard. We were podium contention through 2 motos. And they gave it what they had, and that's all we ask. And they were true patriots to come over here and give it their best shot, and we did that.
Yeah, I mean, we got our asses kicked. Like, we got smoked, but I'm going to cherish this moment, man. It was so much fun this weekend. Our results definitely could have been better, and they should have been. But, man, you need luck for this race. Like, we didn't have it. Like, I got completely cleaned out first moto, first lap, first turn pile up, second moto. So I, of course, didn't help the situation. But just hope that the U.S. scene, like, look, I will put everything on the line to, give it the best result I can. And that's what you guys got that second moto. I mean, dude, I felt so good. All I could think about was, hey, like, I'm gonna do the best I can, show that the USA can hang.
And at the end of the day, we just couldn't get those results that we needed. Whether it was crashes in the first turn, crashes on the track, bad starts, or just plain out bad riding. Man, I struggled today, and you could call it nervousness, you could call it jitters, call it whatever, but man, I need to be better, and I didn't show up like I should have, and I know I was fully capable of more of that, and I feel bad for everyone that came here to cheer us on.
What can you really expect? You know, me and RJ, you know, we've been riding a lot, and for Christian to take this spot and say yes, you know, short notice, and you know, come all the way over here, not really knowing what to expect. That takes some balls right there, and you know, nothing but respect for both these guys, and yeah, it was a damn good experience.
I really think the three guys we had team unity like we haven't seen in a long time. They get along great. You know, they embrace this moment from Friday on, and there's so much outside of the racing here that goes on, and it's special, you know. So our message was keep taking it in, keep soaking this in, do the best you can on the track. It's just another dirt bike race for you guys, and they went out and they did that, and they really, I think, soaked this whole weekend in, and that was special to see.
Shout out to my whole team. Shout out to RJ, Aaron. They delivered their result, and man, I just came up short. So it stings, but I got to keep my head held high and just try to be positive and move on from it.
But like I said, this race is tough, really tough. I'm so happy to be a part of it. My first one. I will earn my way back here to do it again, and we will do better. You know, hopefully we can get the Chamberlain Trophy back.
This is just motivation to come back next year and be better. Nobody likes getting beat, but hey, if you if you take it on the chin and know what you need to work on, that's a start to getting better, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back, take a few days off, and then get back to work. I got a lot to work on, and I think we got some good stuff for next year coming, and I want that number one on my bike all the time, not just in Europe.
Okay, and as you can see, there really is nothing quite like attending a Motocross of Nations in person. Next year, the race moves back to England at Matterley Basin, which has hosted this race several times. Hopefully they get good weather there. Date's not around, but it's generally around this time of year, September, October. That'll be a really fun one. I was going to go this year, but I had some family stuff I had to attend to. We will be there next year. I'm sure you will, JT. One other thing we want to mention, there are other American racers that race for other teams. Team Guam, which is a U.S. territory, so they're eligible to have any American rider with a passport to race for them. Grant Harlan, who has maybe raced this year more than anybody, but it looks like it's going to be done for a little while. Fractured pelvis for Harlan. This is a bad get-off.
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal crash for Harlan. Hate to see that. These guys go there just out of pure passion, right? And to have an injury that's going to have him, hospitalized in France for the foreseeable future is just a really tough one. So let's hope Grant's not in too much pain and can get back stateside relatively soon.
Yeah, fractured pelvis, but he's been giving updates on Twitter. So spirits-wise, he's there. And he actually said he's lucky to get away with only a fractured pelvis, which is something you probably only would hear from a motocross racer. So, okay, that'll wrap everything up from the FIM Monster Energy Motocross of Nations. We will have more episodes of SMX Insider coming your way throughout the offseason.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.